Hey everyone, my name is Kim and welcome back to Bookmarks and Breadsticks. Welcome back to Bookmarks and Breadsticks. If you're new to my channel, a special hello and welcome to the foodie corner of nonfiction Booktube. My name is Kim and I like to talk about food writing, which is a special subtopic under the world of nonfiction. Remember that food books are not cookbooks, but food books cover a variety of topics and often intersect with other subgenres within the nonfiction space. So we could be talking about things like chef memoirs, the history or special topic or focus of a specific item, such as the truffle, or something like the burger, which I am here to talk to you about today. So today I'm going to tell you about 5 different books you can read to learn all about the hamburger. So you want to learn about the hamburger, but you're not exactly sure where to start. Let's look at the hamburger from a historical lens, and let's start with the Primal Cheeseburger, a generous helping of food history served up on a bun by Elizabeth Rosen. This is a super tiny, very easy to consume book that came out in 1994 and is just under 200 pages. In this book, you go through the history of each core element of a burger, from the patty to the bun, the roll of condiments, and also tomatoes and lettuce. Now, let me know in the comments below how you prefer to have your hamburger. I am someone who wants burger, bun, gluten-free bun, burger, bun, lettuce, tomato, and I actually really love blue cheese on my burgers. Regardless, I don't even need the crispy onion rings. Just give me the funk of some blue cheese on a burger. But Dan, when we go out to eat, Dan either wants an Americana classic burger, like, you know, cheese, lettuce, tomato, the works, or he'll get a fried egg on top of it. So let me know in the comments below how you prefer your burger, and pick up this book if you want a really quick bite of food history all about the hamburger. Now, when you think of the hamburger, there's probably nothing more Americana besides apple pie than the hamburger. So the next 2 books are recommendations on the history of a hamburger, but in the context of American cuisine. You can start with American Food, a not so serious history by Rachel Warden with illustrations by Kimberly Ellen Hall. This is a captivating little book, and it's a surprising tour in American food in all of its charm, variety, and occasionally dubious lore. I love this book. I got it last year, and you can see all of these lovely illustrations that go with each special topic or item that they're going to talk about. So in this book, other areas or other foods that do get covered are things like mumbo sauce, Velveeta, and a Caesar salad, I think, is also in here. Let me check. Sorry, guys. It goes in alphabetical order, 1 item for each letter, so 26. So you can learn about things like pepperoni, ambrosia, shrimp and grits, hot wings, and so on. This is a super cute book. I really enjoyed reading it. And not everything is going to be directly about the hamburger in this specific book, but you'll learn about how important things like ketchup, for example, are quintessential to American food, and how ketchup is quintessential to the hamburger. Now, when you think of the hamburger, I'm sure you've heard the debates of, are you Shake Shack? Are you, well, the more famous rivalry is obviously going to be McDonald's versus Burger King, but you've also probably heard Shake Shack versus In-N-Out. If you want to learn about the history of hamburgers from a restaurant chain perspective, I recommend Fast Food Maniac by John Hein. From Arby's to White Castle, one man's supersized obsession with America's favorite foods. John Hein's book, I listened to it as an audiobook, and it's a really fun read because you're going to learn about every fast food chain practically known to man when it comes to American fast food. John Hein does talk about other things not relevant to a hamburger, such as like Tim Hortons, but you are going to learn about McDonald's, the In-N-Out burger, and even other areas like Jack in the Box. So there's tons of different burger ideas in this book. My favorite story out of this book is really how White Castle was what started it all. And the idea, really, the forming of White Castle came from the idea that the owners of the White Castle chain, it originally was only one restaurant, wanted to show all of their men in starched white uniforms to show that the ground beef was safe to handle. Think back to the times of Upton Sinclair in the jungle and the meatpacking district in Chicago. There was a lot of concern that ground beef wasn't safe, or it was actually unsanitary. So White Castle, to fight that consumer fear, put all of their men in white starched uniforms and would make the burgers and grind the meat right in front of you. So you could sit at the counter and see them working. And it instilled a level of confidence in the consumer for White Castle and immediately set off a chain reaction of tons of lookalikes as well. But White Castle did it first. Shifting gears, we've talked about the past, the present, and Americana of the burgers. Now I've got two recommendations for the future of ground beef and hamburgers. First is Meat Planet by Benjamin Aldwergaft, Artificial Flesh and the Future of Food. I read this book about 2 years ago. So this book comes from the California Studies in Food and Culture imprint and came out in 2019. So this book is all about the future of, let's call it, lab-grown meat. It's not the sexiest term in the world, but there is an emerging market where our meat is essentially being grown in a lab, which brings up the great debates on whether or not the food is considered vegan because it doesn't come directly from a live animal. Through the help of stem cell research, we are learning to essentially clone and build up cells to create new meat products. It's a really amazing future, which is not too far off if we really think about it. This book is definitely for the more scientific, those who are thinking about future technology and science. I really appreciated that Nicola Twilley, who's one of the co-hosts of this phenomenal podcast called Gastropod, actually was one of the people who sang praise and wrote a blurb on the back of the book, because Gastropod talks about food in the lens of science and technology, and I think that this is a great companion book for that space. So Nicola writes, the quest to grow meat in a lab has repercussions far beyond food. What is this distinction between artificial and natural? How does meat change when we are its architects? Benjamin Wergaft's new book opens up these questions, making the debate over lab-grown meat into a powerful lens of examining the future of food. To give you a little bit more detail on this book, because it is a little bit more science heavy, let me read the inside jacket for you. In 2013, a Dutch scientist unveiled the world's first laboratory-created hamburger. Since then, the idea of producing meat, not from live animals, but from carefully cultured tissues, has spread like wildfire through the media. Meanwhile, cultured meat researchers race against population growth and climate change in an effort to make a sustainable protein. Meat Planet explores the quest to generate meat in the lab, a substance sometimes called cultured meat, and asks what it means to imagine that this is the future of food. Neither an advocate and nor a critic of cultured meat, Benjamin spent 5 years researching the phenomenon. In Meat Planet, he reveals how debates about lab-grown meat reach beyond debates about food, examining the links between appetite, growth, and capitalism. Could satiating a growing appetite for meat actually lead to our undoing? In using one technology to undo damage caused by another, are we merely trading problems? Like all problems in our food system, the meat problem is not merely a matter of production. It is intrinsically social and political, and it demands that we examine questions of justice and desirable modes of living in a shared and finite world. Benjamin tells a story that could utterly transform the way we think of animals, the way we relate to farmland, and the way we use water, and the way we think about our population and our fragile ecosystem's capacity to sustain life. He argues that even if cultured meat does not succeed, it functions, much like science fiction, as a crucial mirror that we can hold up to our contemporary fleshy dysfunctions. This book very much reminds me of science fiction, and oh gosh, what is that movie where they all drink the drink that's made of human flesh? Soylent! There we go, it's Soylent. This future is not far off from us, and I really recommend you read it. We're going with an open mind, though. Remember, he is not a critic or a skeptic, and really isn't an advocate either. He's really just thinking, is this the future, and what does it mean if our hamburger came from a laboratory? This next book is a contemporary, I'd say, to Meat Planet, and it is The $1 Billion Burger, Inside Big Tech's Race for the Future of Food by Chase Purdy. Now, this book came out in 2020, only a year after Meat Planet. This is the epic story of science and entrepreneurs fighting to bring the future to our plates. I'll admit I have not read this book. It's on my TBR for this year because I enjoyed Meat Planet so much and wanted to learn more about it. So we're gonna read the inside cover together. In 2013, an unamassing burger patty made global headlines. It wasn't exceptionally delicious or smothered in gold leaf or even grass-fed. It caught the world's attention because how it was made. Unlike every other burger, this one didn't come from a cow, at least not directly. Instead, a Dutch laboratory had painstakingly grown the meat from a handful of cow cells in a petri dish at the cost of $330,000. This burger was the stuff of science fiction brought to life, real meat created without the slaughter or environmental devastation. And not a moment too soon, people across the globe are waking up to the climate crisis. 14% of greenhouse gas emissions can be tied back to our appetite for meat, and the warming world is threatening agriculture productivity and food security around the planet. Now, a group of entrepreneurs and scientists are bringing cell-cultured meat to the masses. Billion Dollar Burger follows the fight to upend the trillion-dollar meat industry, drawing from exclusive and unprecedented access to main players, from polarizing activist turned tech CEO Josh Techrick to Dutch scientist Mark Post, creator of the 2013 cell-cultured burger. Armed with a mountain of investment capital, they're tugging at the seams of the meat system as we've known it and attempting to carve a more sustainable path into the future. But the entrenched interests who have everything to lose are playing dirty. Cell-cultured meat is an existential threat to big meat and a potential gold mine for the entrepreneurs who can make it happen. The stakes are monumentally high. Are we ready? So that is my list of 5 different books you can read all about the hamburger. 2 focus on the future of meat, 2 focus on burgers in the lens of Americana and American fast food, and 1 is purely food history, all about the elements of a hamburger. Let me know in the comments below if any of these books pique your fancy. Do you want me to do a full review of Billion Dollar Burger? And on your way down to the comments, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I post new content every Tuesday and Saturday, and if you're looking for more up-to-date news on what I'm reading or what I'm currently doing with the Read It and Eat subscription box, you can check me out on my Instagram and in Storygraph. All that information is down in the comments or in the summary section below. I hope you're well, be good. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.